They all thought he was the poorest man in Dry Hollow, a man barely holding on to a dying piece of land. The kind of man the earth itself had already given up on. Caleb Rourke let them believe it. He wore the lie like dust on his skin, like hunger in his bones. His shack leaned like it was tired of standing. His fields cracked open like old scars. And every morning he worked them anyway. From the road, he looked like failure. From the saloon, he was a joke. Man's too stubborn to die and too dumb to leave. They said it loud enough for him to hear. Caleb never reacted, never argued, never defended himself, because the truth was worth more than their respect. Every woman in Dry Hollow knew his name, not because he was desirable, but because he was available. A man alone, a man with land, a man easy to control. Or so they thought. They came in different ways. Some brought smiles too soft to be real, lingering just a little too long by his fence. Some came with sympathy, offering pies, asking questions they didn't care about. How do you manage all this alone, Caleb? Others didn't bother hiding it. They talked numbers, land, marriage, always marriage. Caleb watched them all, not their words, but their eyes, what they looked at, what they wanted. Because none of them knew that the land they saw wasn't his real land. Behind the dry hills, past a ridge no road bothered to cross, Caleb owned something else entirely. Black soil, deep water, fields that didn't beg for life, they demanded it. He had built it in silence, hidden it in patience, protected it from people like them. Once, he hadn't been so careful. Once he had let someone close enough to see what he owned, close enough to take it. He learned something after that. Money doesn't bring people closer. It shows you who's already waiting to leave. So he changed the game. If wealth attracted the wrong kind of woman, then poverty would reveal the right one. Or so he believed. Days turned into weeks, weeks into seasons, and still no one passed the test. Not one. Until the day she walked into town wearing red. No one in Dry Hollow wore red. Not like that. Not something that moved. Not something that breathed. But she did. Mei Lin. The dress clung to her just enough, not improper, but enough to make men look twice, and women look away. Silk in a town of dust. Grace in a place that only understood survival. She didn't walk like the others. No rush, no apology. Each step measured, like she knew exactly where her body was in the world. Men noticed. Of course they did. But they didn't understand what they were looking at. So they named it something simple. Crazy. The crazy Chinese girl. They said she talked to herself. that she stared too long at things no one else cared about, that she smiled at nothing. What they never saw was that she was listening to the wind through broken wood, to the way water moved around stone, to the things people ignored because they were too busy pretending to be important. Caleb saw her the first day. Not the dress, not the color. Her eyes. Dark, still, unafraid. She didn't look at him the way the others did. No pity, no calculation, no hunger. Just recognition. And that unsettled him. Their first moment came in silence. The mercantile smelled of dust and old wood. Coins clinked. Voices drifted. Then a crate fell. Apples scattered across the floor, rolling, bouncing, bruising. She moved first. No hesitation, no performance. She just knelt, the red fabric pooling around her legs, and started gathering them. Caleb followed, not because he had to, because something in him wanted to be near her. Their hands met over the same apple, her fingers warm, soft, but not weak. He pulled back first. She didn't. She just looked at him, and in that look he understood something dangerous. She knew. Not everything, but enough. Enough to see he wasn't what he pretended to be. That night, Caleb didn't sleep. The wind moved across his empty fields, dry, restless, but his mind wasn't there. It stayed on her. The way she looked at him, not asking, not judging, just seeing. He wasn't used to that. People either wanted something or dismissed him. She did neither. The next evening, he watched her. From the shadow of his broken porch, past the alley behind the laundry, where the world forgot her. Steam curled into the air, and there she was, kneeling in the dirt, a patch of soil no bigger than a blanket. Dead land by anyone else's measure, but not to her. Her fingers moved carefully, breaking the dirt, testing it, feeling it, like it mattered, like it could answer her. Caleb recognized that patience, that silence, that belief that something hidden could still grow. And for the first time, his interest wasn't a test anymore. It was something else. That night, he crossed the ridge, down into the valley no one knew existed, where the soil turned black and the world felt alive. He stood there a long moment before picking one thing: a tomato. Perfect, heavy, warm from the sun, something that did not belong in Dry Hollow or in her hands. And yet he brought it to her anyway. He left it on the fence post near her small garden, then disappeared. The next morning she found it. She didn't grab it, didn't question it. She just stood there, looking at it like it was speaking to her. Then she touched it, slow, careful, like it was something alive. She understood, not where it came from, but what it meant. After that, the silence between them changed. It became a conversation. He left things: sweet corn, beans, food too perfect for a place like this. And she answered, a folded paper crane, placed exactly where he would see it. A white feather, light, delicate, impossible to ignore. Not things of survival, things of meaning. I see you. And every night, Caleb found himself returning, not to check her, but to feel that look again, even when she wasn't there. Because somehow, in a town full of people trying to get close to him, she was the only one who already had. The town never stopped watching her. They just got quieter about it. Cruelty doesn't always shout. Sometimes it waits. That afternoon, the heat sat heavy over Dry Hollow. Dust hung in the air, voices low, watching, waiting. Mei Lin walked through the square, a bucket in her hand, red against brown, movement against stillness. Then she stopped. Martha Hale stepped into her path, broad, loud, used to being obeyed. "You think we don't see what you're doing?" Her voice carried. Of course it did. Men turned. Women slowed. No one walked away. Mei Lin didn't move, didn't answer. That made it worse. "I saw those things you leave, little charms, little symbols. You trying to curse this town?" A few laughs, nervous ones. She stood still, eyes calm, breathing even, untouched. That silence cut deeper than any answer. Martha stepped closer. "We don't want your kind here. Crazy, foreign, unnatural." Across the square, Caleb heard every word. He didn't move at first, didn't speak. He just looked at Martha. Not angry, not loud, just steady. The kind of look that doesn't ask permission. Something shifted. Martha felt it first. Her voice faltered. Her shoulders dropped, just a fraction. Enough. She turned away. This town's going strange. And just like that, the moment broke. People looked at Caleb differently, just for a second, like they didn't recognize him, like something underneath had slipped through. Across the square, Mei Lin met his eyes. No fear, no surprise, just understanding. A small nod, as if to say, "I know." That night, the line broke. Behind the laundry, voices rose again. "You're done here, Henderson. I've had enough of you. Bad for business, bad for people, bad luck." She stood still, hands folded, back straight, silent. Caleb saw it, the smallest tremor in her fingers, the weight finally pressing down. She had nowhere to go, no family, no protection, no place in this town. And Caleb stood in the shadows, watching, doing nothing, because the man they saw could do nothing, the poor farmer. But the man he really was could end this with a word. And that was the problem. Because if he stepped in, the lie would die. The test would be over. And for the first time, Caleb didn't know which one he wanted more. Henderson slammed the door. Silence returned. Mei Lin stood alone. Just for a moment, her shoulders dropped. Just once, that was enough. Caleb stepped forward. "Come with me." No explanation, no question, just truth for the first time. She didn't ask where he was taking her. Didn't hesitate, just followed. They left the town behind, dust fading into darkness, voices swallowed by distance. Up into the hills where the air turned colder, cleaner, quieter. They walked for a long time, only the sound of their steps and the wind brushing past them. Then he stopped. Look. Below them the valley opened. Not dust, not failure. Life. Fields stretching wide, rows clean and deliberate, cattle moving slow through dark grass, and at the center, a house. Not broken, not forgotten, built. Mei Lin didn't react the way he expected. No shock, no anger. She walked past him, kneeling at the edge of the ridge, fingers pressing into the soil. Dark, rich, alive. She let it fall through her hand, like she already knew. "You were afraid." Not a question. Caleb didn't answer right away, because there was nothing left to hide. Yes, I was. They only see what they can take. I needed to know who wouldn't. The truth sat between them, heavy but clean. She stood, close enough that he could feel her warmth. She didn't touch him, but she didn't step back either. Here, things grow. Not just the land, him, them. For the first time, Caleb looked at her without the lie between them. Not the girl the town mocked, but the only person who had ever seen him clearly. His hand moved just slightly, not grabbing, not claiming, just there, waiting. She noticed, and this time she didn't leave space. Her fingers brushed his, warm, certain. No rush, no fear, just choice. Wind moved through the valley below, not cold anymore. Behind them, the town still whispered, still judged, still misunderstood. But it didn't matter, because the man they pitied was never poor, and the girl they called crazy was the only one who had ever known what he was truly worth.